Hello there, everyone. We are here, day 3 of the Dibbly Create Masterclass webinar series that we've been doing. Welcome, everyone. I hope we have some familiar faces in chat today. I see we've already got some comments popping up. I did mention yesterday that I'm going to go through a bit of a roll call and see if we have got some of our regulars who've been joining us over the past few days still in chat with us. Let's give everyone a minute to filter in, and then we can go through that roll call. In the meantime, though, let me give you an idea of the agenda that we have for today. So on day 1, we went over research and planning for your book. On day 2, we went over content creation, so outlining your actual generating of content and then your formatting. And now today, day 3, we're going to be going over some of the finishing touches for your book. So that's going to be things like book descriptions. We're going to go through some of our collaboration tools here in Dibbly Create. So when you need to work with an editor or a proofreader, anyone like that, the tools you'll use for collaboration. We're going to be going over our image generator. We're going to go over our fact checker. We're going to go over our grammar correction tool as well, our prompt library. And then finally, we have a little bit of a surprise at the end, a brand new feature that we're going to be putting into beta testing next week. This is a feature called our guided book flow. It is a fully guided, holds your hand process through the complete A to Z's of getting your book done. It's going to be a massive time saver for any experienced publishers or authors out there. And it's going to be an incredible starting off point for anyone that is new to this or new to Dibbly Create in general. So we're going to go through a sneak preview of that. I'm going to take you through that flow. We also are opening up our beta for viewers here, early access. So you can actually go ahead, join the beta. There's going to be a link posted in chat by Michael. That beta is going to allow you to get a bit of early access, some private time alone with the new guided book flow. And there's going to be a discount code attached to that as well. So if you aren't subscribed, you can get 15% off your first 3 months with us, or up to 3 months. So you can test it out. Now, in terms of kind of our general flow for today, we will be starting with the book description. We'll be then going into those collaboration tools, image gen, fact checker, grammar correction, prompt library, and ending with that guided book flow. So do stick around to the end to see that and to get that link to sign up to the beta alongside the discount code that comes with it. Now, I already do see we've got some questions coming up in chat. Don't worry, we will be getting to those at the end. We are going to have a Q&A session at the end of the webinar. Michael, if you're not familiar with him from the past 2 days, Michael is our producer in the back end. He is keeping an eye on the chat. He's taking note of all of the questions, and they will pop up on the screen when we are done so that I can go through them and answer them. So if you do have questions during the course of this webinar, do feel free to drop them there in the chat, and Michael will keep track of them. Now, that roll call that I was promising, I'm going to go ahead and go through some of the locations that I took note of where people were tuning in from over the last 2 days. I already do see that in the chat we have someone from Colorado. We've got Costa Rica back here again. We do have Carrier, MS, again, I think it is Missouri if I'm correct. I remember seeing you here yesterday. We have NYC here. We have got, from the roll call from yesterday, we had people from South Wales over in the UK. I'm presuming South Wales, they're probably Swansea, Cardiff, Pontypridd, somewhere around there. We had a few from London in the chat here over the past 2 days as well. So if our Londoners are here, make sure to drop something in the chat. We have Craig from Maryland. I do recognize you from yesterday as well, Craig. Welcome. Oregon is back again too. We're getting the whole gang back together. We have Fort McMurray, Alberta. So we do have a Canadian joining us. We are a Canadian company after all. We do need our Canadians to represent in the chat. Amy from Texas is back. Amy, if I remember correctly, I think you were Austin, Texas. And we had a few other Texans join us over the last 2 days as well. I believe we had one from Houston too. We had some Germans in the chat over the last few days. We had Cairo in Egypt. They were joining us here. We had someone from Montana. We had from Brussels in Belgium as well. Scottsdale, Arizona was in the chat for a bit too. Johannesburg, South Africa. We had, I think we've had a few South Africans in the chat. We had Switzerland as well. We had Melbourne, Australia, who was here for a bit too. So wherever you are in the world, if I haven't already listed you, make sure to drop your location in the chat. You don't need to give me exact coordinates, but just your state, your city, your province, wherever you're from. Go ahead, drop it in the chat. Let us see where we are reaching in the world today with this webinar. Okay, let me see, go through the chat and have a look, see if I've missed anyone here. North Texas now, lived in Austin for 9 years until 2024. Well, Amy, I have heard that Austin is a lovely place. I hope you are still in a lovely place in North Texas. I see we have some more questions coming in as well. Don't worry, those will be tracked and we will go ahead and go through those at the end of the webinar, but feel free to send them now. We're more than happy to answer any questions you guys might have. Right, lovely. Let me do a customary water break. It is only 7 minutes into the webinar and I'm already drinking water. It's been one of those days. There we go. Lovely. If you aren't familiar from the last 2 days we've been doing this, I do tend to take regular water breaks. I do suggest that anyone watching does as well. It is good for you. And Mike will also post water break in the chat to remind everyone as well. There we go. I do see we have another type of Londoner in the chat. We have London, Ontario. And Jason, I do remember you from, you've been here for the last 2 days, if I remember correctly. I think you had a good question for me either yesterday or on Tuesday. But I have seen you around and I have seen some of your questions floating around. All right. Mike, I think we are going to be ready to share a screen and get started shortly. I do believe I actually need to share the screen on my side for you to do it for everyone else. So let me quickly do that. Go. All right, let's give it 30 seconds or so and then we can go ahead, share a screen and get started going through today's agenda. Now, for anyone that has joined since I mentioned it when we just started, we have got a bit of a surprise for today coming towards the end of this webinar. We are going to be going through our guided book flow. This is actually the first time anyone outside of the company is going to get a chance to see it. It is a brand new feature, going to be amazing for experienced publishers and new publishers alike. It's going to be a massive time saver for your workflow. It's going to help you get started on the right foot and then see a book through all the way till the end of generation. So one really easy, self-contained, intuitive flow to follow. And yeah, we'll be going over that towards the end. And again, I mentioned earlier, if you want to be a part of this beta test, we are going to be launching it next week. It's going to be exclusive to the people from this webinar. So we will be posting a link for that in the chat later on. Feel free to join up the beta there, it's free. What we'll do on our end is once you join the beta, we'll go in, give you access to that specific new feature, and then you can test it out and play around and see how you like the guided book flow. If you have any feedback, you let us know and we will work on it. And yeah, otherwise it's really cool. It's really exciting. Oh, and I see Claire is back for day 3 in the Mousetrap Orlando. Lovely. We've got a Floridian here. I hope the weather is great there this time of year. I believe it's coming into summer for you guys, so I'm sure it will be quite nice. Thank you for the compliment, Jason. I do appreciate it. I'm glad the info has been helpful. All right, Mike. I think we can share screen. Let's get started. All right, so we are back to this very familiar project right here. It's my project creatively named Webinar Examples. This is the one that we've been going through for the last few days. We've been going section by section through our research here, our outlines, all the way down here into our actual generated written content. Now, right here in front of you, front and center of the page, is our non-fiction chapter that we generated yesterday and we kind of showcased yesterday. You can see this part of it is highlighted here. This is one of the collaboration tools that I'll be showcasing a little bit later. But before we get into that, I want to take you through book descriptions. Now, book descriptions are something that you may have heard quite a bit about if you are in publishing. If you're an experienced publisher, you'll already know all about it. If you're new to publishing, I do suggest you definitely go do some research if you're not familiar. But your book description, a way that I like to describe it is it's essentially the movie trailer for your book. It is meant to give your readers an understanding of what they're paying for before they actually need to buy the product. Similar to how a movie trailer kind of gives you a sneak peek of the movie before you go and see it in theaters. So it is incredibly useful, an incredibly useful part of your repertoire as a publisher, and is going to help you really build out a solid marketing base to get started on. This is going to be the thing that hinges, or that a lot of your marketing is going to hinge around. So we do have a book description tool here at Dibbly Create. If we head over here into our Generate tools, you'll see description right over here. And clicking on that is going to go ahead and give you the option to either choose fiction or non-fiction for a book description. You can then choose a genre, you can choose a tone, and you can either upload a file or select a specific part of a project. Specifically the project that you are in right now. Now, I'm actually going to go ahead and generate this book description live for us right now. I'm going to choose nonfiction. Our genre is self-help. Our tone, we can go for something like encouraging. And then we're going to go ahead and pick chapter 1 of our nonfiction book that we have. So let's go ahead and generate, and we'll see exactly what content it gives us. There we go. So 757 tokens used, and we now have a book description here, at least based on the first chapter of this book. Now, of course, you can go ahead and compile a bunch of chapters together if you want. You can base this off of your outline. That's something that a lot of people will do. And if anything, I'd probably recommend doing that over doing just a singular chapter. Your outline tends to give a bit more information than just a single chapter would. But right now, you can see here we do have a book description. This is going to be optimized in sense of layout. Book descriptions, we tend to want them rather short. In general, your book description sweet spot is somewhere between 300 and 600 words. You can get longer than that in some cases. You can get shorter than that in some cases. But there is a general sweet spot you want to aim for. And then as well as that, the book description does need to contain a lot of the buzzwords for your book. So your buzzwords, your keywords, your important words that really help describe the content of the book. And this book in particular is a self-help, it's a motivational book for professionals in the workplace dealing with high-stress environments. And because of that, you can see that our book description has come out with that in mind. The heading is Unlock Your True Potential at Work. Your lead is a bit of a kind of anecdotal, not necessarily anecdotal, but more descriptive start here, saying you wake up each morning feeling the weight of your to-do list, yet the spark of excitement dims under the pressure of deadlines. It is written in a catchy way that's really going to hook the reader. And I think that is an incredibly important thing to ensure with book descriptions. Going back to the comparison I made earlier with a movie trailers are designed to really hook a viewer. I'm sure there's been many times you guys have seen a movie trailer and then been disappointed a bit by the actual movie that came out afterwards, because the trailer tends to hype things up a lot, make it seem very, very exciting, and sometimes the movie doesn't always live up to that. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be the case with your book, but I'm saying with a book description, you kind of want to ensure that it is just as exciting and just as informative in a sense as the book is itself. You really want this to hook your readers without them getting the book, buying it, getting it for free, anything like that. This is going to do the selling for you. Now, your book description, as well as being placed on your Amazon landing page for your book, your actual sales page, typically your book description will also live on the back cover of a printed book. So on your hardback, on your paperback, you'll have your book description on there. It'll often be on your dust jacket for a hardcover, I should specify. And then your book description is often used in a lot of marketing copy as well. It'll often be used as the basis for social media marketing, for general advertising too. You might need to make some changes here and there to shorten it or to lengthen it, but in general, your book description is going to be the basis for a lot of your marketing. It's going to help set the tone, and it's going to help really provide the backing and the foundation for that marketing work afterwards. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to save this to a note. I'm going to call it book description. I'm going to save that. And there we go. We have our book description. I realize I actually already have a book description generated for something else here. We'll ignore that. Here is the book description that we have generated for this book. Oh, I actually forgot to mention there is another section here called the call to action. Now, the call to action is very important. It's short, though. In general, your call to action needs to be short. It needs to be catchy. It is the final hook at the end of your book description to motivate readers to read it, to view your book. So in many ways, a book description, you're kind of baiting a fishing line with multiple hooks here. You're starting off with a catchy title or catchy heading. You're moving into a relatable lead and body, relatable and informative. You want readers to read that and feel like, yes, this book is for me. And then you want to tell them what is in the book. That's where our bullet points come in down here. And then your last hook is just going to be this short, catchy call to action that really gets them motivated. So yeah, that is your book description. Very simple, very short, quite cheap to generate in terms of tokens as well. And it is going to really help set the basis for your marketing. Now, moving on from the book description, let's get into some of these collaborative tools that I mentioned earlier. Now, collaboration is a big part of wrapping up your project in your book. And today I'm going to go over two of the primary collaboration tools that you'll be using here in Dibbly Create. Now, you can use these with a ghostwriter. If you're a ghostwriter working on your book, you can use it for that. An editor who's doing a final review of your book at the end, they'll make use of these. Proofreaders might use it for comments. There are multiple ways that you can make use of these tools. In many cases, if you have a business partner that you're working with and you both want to review the document and go over it, again, same thing here, you will be using these. Now, the main one, and I think the most important one, is quite simple. It is commenting. You can highlight any text here in Dibbly Create, press this little button over here to insert a comment. That'll drop down this little box. You can type in your comment and go ahead and hit send. And that is going to go and highlight that block of text. It's going to give you a little comment in this sidebar here. If I go ahead and close this, see if I click on any of these, it'll actually show up and take me to the one that I clicked on. And then from here, you can converse back and forth with whoever you are working with. So I can say done on this one and send, and then resolve that comment. It now disappears, but if I do click on that same area, it will show me the resolved comments. I can also just use this to hide resolved comments as well from the list here. And then, as well as that, if I want to delete or edit a comment, I can go ahead and click any of these buttons here, and that will allow me to do the relative action. You can also unresolve comments by going here too. So if you want to kind of take your words back and make something up for discussion again, you can do that here. Now, as well as that, you can filter by all open and resolved comments down here. So if I just go and filter by open, you'll see this resolved comment no longer shows. Now, the next thing is suggestions, and this is going to be very important for editing. If anyone here has worked in something like Google Docs or Microsoft Word, these will be very, very familiar to you. They are the backbone of collaboration in document editors like these. Suggestions, in this case, I've actually had Michael, this is our producer Michael right here, I've had him leave a suggestion on this chapter. He's gone ahead and scored out corporate and has replaced it with professional, a bit of a synonym change right there. And if I want to go ahead and approve this suggestion, I can just click right here. And there we go. Now we have gone from it being corporate to now professional. And similarly, with suggestions, you can always disapprove and it will remove it and keep things as they are. And you can filter here by latest, oldest. You can accept all or reject all too. And then there will be this little button here showing you, kind of giving you an idea of what type of access you have to this document. So if you don't have edit access on the document, or you haven't shared edit access on the document with another person, then they won't be able to go ahead and accept suggestions. Only people that own the document or are editors on the document can go ahead and make changes, such as suggestions. Now, on the subject of access and suggestions and comments, this little T button up here, this allows you to go ahead and change your viewpoint of a document. So you can have it be editing, so I can go ahead and make changes here. We can have it be suggestions, so I can actually go ahead and leave a suggestion on the document by changing where to were, I guess, if I were to have bad grammar. There we go. Or you can have comment access, commenting style, so the only thing that shows up when you highlight would be the ability to comment, or just straight viewing access. So nothing can be changed here, no comments or suggestions can be left. And as well as that, if you actually want to share the document with someone, you just go to share over here, drop in their email address, or select anyone with link and copy the link and send it off to them. Yep, so that is our primary collaboration tools right here. These are the most important things you're going to need to use to kind of work with others on the finishing touches for your document. And next, we're going to go into something a little bit interactive here. Now, I want to do image generation as our next topic here. I'm going to head over to our image generator, and I'm going to open up the chat on my other screen over here. And as I mentioned, we're going to go ahead and do something interactive. Now, with our image generator, I'm going to generate images live here. And I want to hear from chat some suggestions from people. I want suggestions for an animal that we can add into the prompt. I want suggestions for a location that we can add into the prompt, or a scene, could be a forest, could be a desert, something like that. And I want suggestions for an article of clothing that we can put into this prompt. I'm going to mishmash all three together in here. We're going to generate something, and then we're going to go back, put the same thing in, enhance by Kip, and generate again. So everyone in chat, feel free to throw some suggestions my way. Okay, we already have one there from Michael, who wants to get involved. He's suggesting a cat, a hotel, and a t-shirt. Let's see if we have any other variations here coming from the chat. I might even combine a few suggestions from our viewers. Okay, Linda Lou Hickey is saying a bear. We have a zebra as well mentioned here. Oh, there we go. Oh, Michael's working some production magic and bringing them up on the screen for everyone to see as well. Very nice. Chow chow puppy. Oh, I like that. Okay, that's a descriptive one. Okay, so let's say animal. We're going to go with a chow chow puppy. Okay. In a forest. There we go. And, oh, we've got two suggestions for an elephant there. One is suggesting in pajamas at Mardi Gras, one suggesting in a river with a hat. Let's go for pajamas. Chow chow puppy in a forest wearing pajamas. I'm going to leave the color up to it to decide. And for style, let's go for something fun here. Let's do I think we can do something like chibi. Or maybe not, no. Let's go for a children's illustration. That seems like it's going to fit here. Now, after selecting those things, there is the button to enhance by Kip. We'll come back to that. For right now, I'm going to just go ahead and change the aspect ratio. I want them to be a little bit longer, a little bit wider than they are taller. And I'm going to have just two images generated. Let's get two examples here. So let's give it a second, and we'll have two examples of a chow chow puppy in a forest wearing pajamas. There we go. Okay, so these are two children's illustration style images of a chow chow puppy in a forest wearing pajamas. And I must say, it's pretty cute, I must say. Good suggestions all around, everyone. Now, kind of getting back to the functionality here, I'm going to end up fawning over this puppy for far too long if I don't focus. Clicking on either of the images, as you've seen, expands them. We have some actions down here to save to a project, to download the image directly, or to reuse the prompt and generate again if we're not happy with this. And then we can also hover over the images, and we have the Save to Project and Download buttons right there. And again, we also have Save to Project, Download, or Delete results here. This will save everything. So if you don't want to individually go through them and save them, you can just click this button, save it all right here. Now, what I'm going to do is let's go for a different prompt here. I'm going to scroll up the chat here and pick some of our suggestions from earlier. We have, for animals, we have zebras, we have elephants. There's Natasha there saying a Pomeranian. I do think you're a bit biased, Natasha. You do have a Pomeranian of your own. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and pick a zebra. I think that'll be fun. So we can do a zebra. And I know we had at Mardi Gras, wearing a hat. There we go. Okay, now let's see what this gives us. Let's quickly pick a style first, though. So in terms of style, I think we could potentially try and do photorealistic here and see what it gives us. And I'm going to click Enhance by Kip. Now, watch what this does. I have one line of information here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words long. There's barely anything I've given it. And you've seen with the last prompt as well, we also had like, what's this, 7? No, we had 9 words here. So we got a very good image out of something very small. But if I click Enhance by Kip, what's going to happen is Kip, our friendly little assistant here, is going to take the wheel for a bit. He's going to enhance our prompt, add a ton more detail and description to it, and really give us something beefy to work with. Now, of course, we can go in here and we can edit as we want before generating. I think I'm going to go ahead and generate it just as is, and let's see what results we get. So I'm going to go ahead and hit generate and give it a few seconds, and let's see how our zebra at Mardi Gras with a hat looks like. And a photorealistic zebra at Mardi Gras with a hat, mind you. And I think that looks pretty good. So here's our first image right here. Here is our photorealistic zebra at Mardi Gras wearing a hat. Our second image is right here as well. Quite nice. In fact, I think I like this one maybe even a bit better just because of all the people in the background. But here we have our second image of a photorealistic zebra at Mardi Gras wearing a hat. And you can see there is a ton of detail in here added by Kip when we enhanced. Now, enhancing by Kip can overcomplicate a prompt at times. That's bound to happen. But it's really here to help you add a lot more detail and give you a framework with which you can edit and personalize that prompt. The main thing that we run into as new users for generating images is typically it's very difficult to get an understanding of how much is too much and how to really start with getting a prompt right for an LLM that's doing image generation. There's a lot of conflicting opinions online as to how to do that ideally. But this is going to give you kind of a framework to work off of. Now, I see Natasha has actually put a request here in the chat. Natasha Moutinho, one of our lovely co-owners, she has asked that we showcase how to create a book cover using 2:3 aspect ratio. That is a good suggestion right there. So let's go ahead and generate something in 2:3 aspect ratio. And we can go ahead and select a style for that book cover. Let's do, let's think with our motivational book that we have right now, maybe something that is cubist might work nicely there. And we now need a prompt for that. Natasha, do you have a suggestion for a prompt? Or anyone else in chat for that matter? Okay, let's do none for our style then from Natasha, she's suggesting. I think we want to leave it up to the creativity of our LLM here. Okay. And let's see what suggestions we can get for our prompt. Oh, Natasha's working on it. No pressure, no pressure. I'm seeing if anyone else in chat might have some suggestions as well. Let me just adjust my seating position, and I think it's actually an appropriate time for a quick water break. Lovely. Water break, there we go. Thank you for reminding everyone, Mike. I appreciate it. Okay, Natasha has given us a nice suggestion here for our prompt. Let me go ahead and type this out. So we're doing cryptocurrency, a complete beginner's guide to cryptocurrency. Okay. Author. Go. Okay. Let's do this in brackets for the title. And we can say author Natasha Tinio. And let's go ahead and see what this goes and generates for us. There we go. All right, and now we have a lovely pair of book covers for this book that Natasha suggested. Go. Now, of course, as with any LLM and with any image generator, there is the possibility that wording might come out a bit strange, a bit funny. But the lovely thing is we at least give you a solid background for your cover. It is a beautiful design. Any edits that you need to make can be made post. And on top of that, you can always regenerate and see what else it gives you. It is an unavoidable fact of life right now with image generator LLMs that wording can be a bit tricky, but we have to work around that. And luckily, more times than not, ours gets it right. Now, with all of that in the image generator here, I'm going to go ahead and save one of our images to a project here. I'm going to say zebra image. I'll save it to a note, so we have that saved for the future. And here we go. It'll populate in this note momentarily. And while it does that, let me see if there's anything else that we can cover here in the image generator. No. So I think we have covered everything here. However, there is one thing I do want to point out, is that whenever you are generating anything with any of our tools here in Dibbly Create, and you, let's say 2-3 weeks ago, generated something and you want to go back and view that, but you can't find it anywhere, maybe you didn't save it, don't worry, it doesn't go anywhere. It'll be found right here under this little button on the tool itself. If I go ahead and click that, you can see all of our historic generations here. There's all of the different days that I've generated down here as well, various things going way back into November on this account. You can even see any failed generations here. So for any reason you had a generation that failed and you want to reach out to us and point it out, it'll show here. And then you can just clear results, delete results as you wish from here as well. So if you want to clear up any clutter, there we go. You can just go ahead and delete it. Now, moving on from our image generator. If you do have any questions about the image generator, feel free to drop them in the chat. The same goes for any of the other tools we've already talked about. We will be getting to those at the end. But let's go ahead and have a look at our fact checker. Now, fact checking is an important part of publishing. It's not something that's talked about a lot, to be honest. It's something that's more in line with non-fiction. But in general, one of the big complaints that you'll find with a lot of non-fiction books out there is factualness, especially when it's a book that is written by or on a contentious topic. You want to be seen as trusted as an author. You want to be seen as reliable as an author. And a big part of that is ensuring that the content that you're putting out there is grounded in truth. So our fact checker helps ensure that. And especially at the end of the process where we are right now, you might want to just go over everything once again to make sure that the information you're putting out into the world isn't going to get you any negative feedback. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and highlight this paragraph here, chosen at random. I'm going to click the little kip icon, and I am actually, do I want to do this paragraph? Maybe I want to do this paragraph here. Yeah, I'm going to do this paragraph over here, in fact. And I'm going to go ahead and click our fact checker. Now, this is going to take a few moments to go ahead and check the content of this paragraph against various sources on the internet to try and see if it can confirm whether anything mentioned here is factual, non-factual, or inconclusive. You might get an inconclusive result if you're highlighting something that is completely anecdotal. Maybe you're highlighting a section of a book which is just a story. You know, it's something told from your personal experience. There's no real reference to any events, any facts in there. So you might get an inconclusive result there. If it comes back finding that something's not factual, you might want to look into finding some sources to back it up. And if it comes back saying that something is factual, it will go ahead and confirm that for you. Now, on top of that, what it's also going to do is it's going to provide you sources that back up its decision. So if it says something is factual, it will provide sources showing you reliable places online where it is confirmed as being factual. And if it shows up as not being factual, it will provide sources as to why it believes it isn't factual. So let's give it a few seconds here. Let's let it run and generate our little fact-checking expose for us. And once it's done, we can go ahead and review the sources it's given and review the feedback that it's given us on this specific paragraph. Now, while it does that, I'm going to go ahead and have a look through our chat and just see what people are saying. If you just joined the webinar or have just joined in the last, how long have we been going on for? Last 20 minutes or so, feel free to say hi in chat. The last time I had a look through our greetings in chat was right at the beginning. Oh, someone was asking, where do you find the fact checker? I might as well address that while I am here. All you need to do is highlight a paragraph of content in Dibbly Create and click the little kip icon that appears when you do that. It'll be on the far left-hand side of the bar that appears when you highlight content. So all of our little inline kip tools will be in there. That includes our fact checker, that includes our grammar corrector, it includes our simplifier, the change POV tool, continue writing. There's a bunch of little handy tools on there which you can use directly here in the document editor just to help enhance your content that you have in front of you. Okay. Oh, we do have a hi in chat from another new user, Essam Nassar. Welcome. New user, I should say new viewer. If there is anyone else that is new that has joined in the last 30 minutes or so, drop a hi in chat. We do a little thing at the beginning of our webinars where we also mention where we are tuning in from around the world. So feel free to also drop your location. It's always fun to know where people are watching from. And you can also scroll up in the chat and go and see where other people are viewing from around the world. We've got a whole global community in here. It's absolutely fantastic to see. All right, here we go. We have our fact checker return right here, our generation output. You can see we have a nice little box here, handy one that we can click and drag around as we want. So if we want to drag this all the way to the bottom of the chapter, keep it by the references, we can do that. And over here, we can see that Claire's experience is not uncommon in today's professional environment. So that's anecdotal. We can't really back up what Claire's experience is, so we can't evaluate this claim. That's what it says. Oh, I do see we have a new viewer from Belgrade, Serbia joining us. Okay, lovely. So we can't evaluate that claim, and it's given an explanation here. It says there's no information in the provided sources that directly addresses the issue of Claire's experience in today's professional environment. Expected, it's anecdotal. It's all based on what Claire has experienced personally. So we can't back that up with fact. We have then our next little bit here, which says balancing intrinsic and extrinsic motivators can impact employee engagement. We found information that supports this claim. There we go. So we have confirmation that there is information out there that does support that is true. The explanation is the importance of balancing intrinsic and extrinsic motivators. That's a bit of a tongue twister for me. Is emphasized in several sources, which outline how both types of motivation can influence employee engagement and productivity. And there we go. We have an article here from medium.com and one from peoplethriver.com, which backs this up with reliable sources. And once again, down here, another line has been taken, and we have information that supports it. With more reliable sources here, we have a .edu link here, and we have another medium.com link here too. And as we go down, we see that the chapter delves into dynamics of workplace motivation. It can't evaluate the claim because, again, this is kind of something that isn't backed up by a scientific or reliable source online. Nobody else knows about this chapter but us right now. So there we go. And then down here, another line that supports this claim. There we go, and more reliable sources down here. It'll also give us at the bottom here the another source which could potentially use to back up these claims, but that our AI can't verify the reliability of. So this one is completely up to you, whether you deem it reliable or not. So that there is our fact checker, incredibly useful tool. You can go ahead and copy at any point and just paste this information elsewhere. You can delete it too if you don't want to see this block here. And as I mentioned earlier, you can actually click and drag it around so we can shift it around and about here in the document. Now, for the time being, I'm actually not going to remove it. I'll leave it there. It's nice to have. There we go. So if we ever need to return, it's right there. So that's our fact checker. Straightforward, simple, but incredibly powerful. Next, we have our grammar corrector. Now, we have one issue here with the grammar corrector, is that all of the grammar in this document is actually perfect. This was all grammar that was generated by our AI. It's not going to find any issues with what is written here because our AI is actually very good at writing. So I'm going to have to mess this up a little bit. So I'm going to say as well transition into exploring how those, let's change it to something that would be grammatically incorrect, these apply. There we go. So I've gone ahead and ruined that a little bit. I am not insinuating that anyone in this chat has grammar this bad. I'm sure that's not the case. I'm just going to give you a very blatant example of how our grammar corrector can correct grammar. So, doing the same thing as we did with the fact checker, we're going to highlight text. I'm going to highlight just those two lines. I'm going to click our little Ask Kip icon here, and I'm going to go down to grammar correction. As you can see, our fact check is down here as well. Let me hit grammar correction, and that's going to go ahead, review those 2 lines, correct the grammar for us. There we go. We can see it has gone ahead and fixed all of the words that I butchered. And we can either copy to clipboard, try again if you feel like it's gotten something wrong, discard, or replace the text. Replacing the text means that it's simply going to go ahead and fix it for us. And there we go. We now have our grammar fixed in that section. Put a little space there. Go. And that's our grammar corrector covered. It really is as quick and simple as that. It's a very powerful tool if you just want to do a quick once over of your document and make sure that everything is right, that you didn't miss a little thing here or there. I can't tell you the number of times that I've read a book from a reputable author and I have still found the occasional little typo in there. I found a letter that's not been capitalized properly, or an extra space, or sometimes even just a misspelled word. It happens. We are human at the end of the day. After you've been reading through 20,000 words of a book, you're bound to maybe miss one word every now and then that is misspelled. So sometimes it is really handy to kind of hand the reins over to an AI like this, a machine that is not going to make those types of mistakes, and let it do the heavy lifting of grammar correction for you. So yeah, feel free to go ahead and check out our grammar corrector. Now, we are going to get into a section that is quite fun here. This is going to be our prompt library. Now, our prompt library is not necessarily a tool in its own. It is a collection of little tools, little pre-made prompts that will help you generate small parts of important content during your kind of publishing journey. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click our Kip little icon here, and I'm going to find our prompt library down here. Now I'm going to go ahead and click See All Prompts. And from here, I'm going to go through a few important prompts for publishers. These are ones that you're going to find very handy as an author. In here, we have things like SEO article, we have press release, blog ideas, customer research, Facebook ad copy, various prompts. So 14 pages of them here at the very least. We're going to go ahead and just select marketing right now, because I think that is the most important thing that we can cover at the moment. I'm not going to go through all of them. I want you guys to explore a little bit and find things that are useful for you. But if we go to marketing and we look for something like, we can do, let's see what's a fun one here. Let's go for a Facebook ad copy. So if you're advertising anywhere, Facebook, Instagram, your meta apps, Threads even, this one will work for you. It'll work across most social media, in all honesty. And what we can go ahead and do here is generate some SEO optimized ad copy. So we're going to go ahead and select a writing style. I want this to be persuasive. I want people to buy this book. I want our tone to be empathetic. And we can go ahead and tell it a little bit about the product or that we want to be promoting here. So there is even a bit of an example here that says, romance novel called Moonflower about a soldier who falls in love during the Korean War, etc. Like we've got a little example there to tell you what's happening. So I'm going to say this is a self-help motivational book titled The Art of... Oh, I can't remember the name of the book, actually. It is The Art of... what is it now? I'm just going to go ahead and make something up. There we go. The Art of Motivation in the Workplace. There we go. And let's go ahead and send it with that and see what it gives us. There we go. And now it's given us some options here. I'm going to click insert. It's given us some options for ad copy that we could use for this book. Now, ads, typically quite short. You just want a heading, a descriptor below it. The more information that you give it in the description of the product, the more detailed it can be with this. But at the moment, with what I gave it, which was literally a few words worth, a single line worth of information, it's given us a primary text here. Unlock your potential with the art of motivation in the workplace. Inspire and lead your team to success. It's showing a headline here, which is Master Workplace Motivation. And it's showing a description, which says transform your team now. A little call to action description there. Now, that there is an example of our Facebook ad copy tool in the prompt generator, or the prompt library, I should say. Let's hop over to a new section here, and let's try out one of our other tools. Let's head over here, and let's go and look at content, perhaps. There we go. So if you are struggling at some point to potentially come up with an idea for a blog, blogging is quite important and quite popular amongst authors. It's a good way of connecting with your reader base. It's a good way of building a bit of back and forth with them and giving them an insight into your process, the way that you do things. You can actually go ahead and use our blog idea generator right here. And we can again go ahead and select our tone and style. I'm going to say expository and conversational, and we can put in a topic or subject we want ideas on. So I'm going to say different writing processes, including that include AI. And I'm going to go ahead and hit start on that. And here we go. Live in front of our eyes, it's going to go ahead and generate almost like an outline for blog ideas that we can then generate with our content writer here in Dibbly Create to give our users a fully fleshed out blog. There we go. So now we have, how many ideas we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different ideas for blog posts that we can do that will allow you to connect with your reader base. Now, these are just 2 of the tools, or 2 of the prompts in our prompt library. There are a ton more, and I urge you to go ahead and explore and investigate and see what will work for you. There's tools that will help you get started with ideas for your book. If you're right at the beginning of the process, you haven't done any research yet, and you just want to come up with some ideas, there are tools that will help with that. There are prompts in the prompt library that will help you do all different types of marketing and ad content. There are prompts in there that will help you organize your thoughts and kind of build out, not necessarily an outline, but an idea of where you want to go with a book or with a series of books, and help you really get organized as an author. Now, I do see that Natasha actually put in a request for me to cover another little tool here that we have for collaboration, which I didn't cover earlier, and that is our split view. Now, split view is a very, very handy tool here within Dibbly Create, which I'm going to go ahead and open up right here. There we go. And again, if you're familiar with working in Microsoft Word, I don't believe I've ever used this type of thing in Google Docs. I haven't used Google Docs in a while, but this is something that is used in Microsoft Word quite a bit. It's the ability to split a document into 2 copies and view one side and one part of the document here, and the other side and the other part of the document over here. Now, this can be incredibly useful when you are collaborating with people as well. I can see where my cursor is with my name. If someone else were to go ahead and drop their cursor or click somewhere in the document, I'd be able to see their name, their cursor, where they're working. And this will allow you to go ahead and work on multiple parts of your document at the same time. This can allow you to compare between different parts of your document at the same time. It can be incredibly useful for just getting a broader view of what is going on here. You can also go ahead and not just view the same section, but hop over into a different section. So you can have two different sections, different notes working off side by side here. If you are writing your document, oh, there's Michael, he just popped into this document right there. There we go. And if you are writing this from scratch and you want to have your notes on one side and you're writing on the other, so you don't have to keep flicking back and forth, you can go ahead and open up your research or whatever else you have on one side, and then have your actual written content on the other, or vice versa. Just looking at it, I'd probably have the written stuff on the right and the research on the left. I tend to like it that way, but it's completely up to you. So that is our split view right there. As I mentioned, incredibly handy for collaboration and for managing your own content as well. So if you ever want to work with a partner and you have their work up on their side, yours up on the other, you can just kind of stay in sync, stay in the loop with whatever each other are doing without having to have a second tab open, without having to have a second screen. It's all right here on your single screen, split in two. Go, and let me exit split view. Now, with prompt library covered, the last thing that I want to take everyone through is the big one that we've all been waiting for. That is guided book flow. That is the thing that I've been teasing since the beginning of the webinar. That is our new process for allowing users to kind of hop in and follow a single curated flow to get a book created quick, easy, and really intuitively. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to a new tab here where I have a flow that I went through earlier. Now, I'm not going to generate the book here. The book generation itself can take about 10 minutes to do, to generate the full book at the end of the flow. Still a quite competitive amount of time. We did some research on competitors before this, and unfortunately there are some that are taking 3 hours to generate a book, which I don't know how they achieved that, but I'm glad that we could beat it. I'm not a very patient person myself. But we do have, we do have the guided book flow here. Now let me take you through it from start to end. If you have any questions at the end, drop them in chat. And let's get started. So, first step of our guided book flow is ideas and proof of concept. So this is where you, as either an experienced author or as a new author, will start your journey in this flow. This flow, mind you, will be accessible from your dashboard in Dibbly Create, the home page. So you'll be able to find it there by just clicking Create New Project, and you'll get the option to start. And this is where you will start. So right here, the first thing that you need to figure out is what ideas do you want to investigate for your book, and what is going to be the basis for your proof of concept. Now, the first thing that I put in here was just motivation, plain and simple. I want a book that is in motivation as a niche. I've put that in up here. I've got Amazon.com selected as my domain. We are going to be adding more domains down the line, but we went for the biggest and most important one first. That is what we will have during the beta. And then I clicked Generate. Now what that has done is it's given me an output down here, which allows me to choose up to 5 competitor books to analyze in the research step, or we can skip the step if we want, if we already have an idea of what we want to analyze. We can also let Kip select the top 5 books, or we can head down here and actually filter by ourselves. So we can search by price, their number of pages, their bestseller rank, by ISBN, estimated monthly sales, monthly revenue, reviews, And we can go ahead and actually open it up in Amazon from here too. And then we can see that for this particular niche, we have pulled 13 books that are profitable, that are doing well in their particular tier. We can see the average sales rank of all these books, the average monthly revenue, and the average price of those books. Now, with all this information, we can go ahead and hit next, and that's going to take us over to the research step. Now, before we continue, I do just want to remind everyone that we are opening our beta for this flow in the new week. So on Monday, we're going to be opening that. It's a first come, first serve type of thing. So feel free to go ahead and sign up to the beta with the link that Mike is going to be posting in the chat. There we go, he's just posted it. You can just input your name, your account, email address in there. So whatever email address you're using for your account and create, that's so that we can locate you and give you access. And then you can also input whether you're a pro user, a free user, or if you don't actually have an account with us yet. If you are without an account for us or you're a free user, there is a discount code that's attached there in that form that allow you to get 15% off up to your first 3 months with us. So you can subscribe for 1 month, just get the 15% on that one. If you do 3 months, you can get that discount code there and get 15% off for that time period. And that'll allow you to hop in and test out this feature. So yes, everyone, go ahead, sign up for the beta there, be part of the first people around to try out this new feature. And let us know what you think about it. We're really excited. We've been working on this thing for a bit, put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it, and we're really happy to finally be able to share it with the world. Okay, there we go. So with that out of the way, and I'll bring a reminder for that round again at the end, we're going to go through our research step here. Now, as you can see, we already have an output on the right-hand side. As I mentioned, I pre-generated everything just so we could go through this smoothly without any waits in between. It's a lot easier on my voice that way because it's less talking for me. Usually I like talking, but it can get a bit much at times. So, firstly, we have book direction up here. Now, book direction is a simple explanation of the direction you want this book to go, kind of the goal, the topic in a way. So for me, I've said motivating yourself and others in high-stress work environments. That is the end goal of this book. That's what I want readers to take away from this. So, over here, I've inputted that. And then below that, the books that I selected in the previous stage, they are showing up now right here. I'll actually go back and just give everyone a reminder of that too. So in this stage here, of the top books down here, I selected a few that appealed to me, that fit what I was going for. Those are the books that have been carried forward here into research. I can also click View Details to actually see those ones that were carried over. I can also add some external links if I want here. So these will be external links to references, research material that I want to include here. And if I have some other ISBNs I'd like to include for other books, I can go ahead and put them in here as well. Then down here, I've selected the category. In this case, it's self-help. I've selected the second layer of category on Amazon, which is motivational, and then I hit generate. And that has given me a full research brief for this book. Now, the output here, it starts with an executive summary and kind of an overview of the research. This is easy reading stuff. This is just to give you a really simple, quick to read overview of everything that the research has done, everything it's provided, and what you'll find below in the more detailed report. So we have our executive summary at the top, a target audience profile, your market analysis, which covers current market leaders, market gaps. We have content recommendations. So this is recommending how the content should be structured based off of what is selling well and what's popular currently in your niche. So we have structure, differentiation, strategy, so how you can be different from what's popular, but still meet the goals of readers in this niche. We have format innovations, how you can be a bit innovative in the way that you are laying out this book. This is really important because innovation is what breeds success, especially in writing. And then we have current trending books here. So this is a run through of books that are currently trending in this niche, ones that are currently on the up and up or are currently selling very well. Give you a bit of an example of what they're doing well here and how they've applied that. And then implementation recommendations. So these are recommendations for how the content should be, or how the research should be implemented into the outline. And we have a conclusion down here. Then we have a detailed research report below that. Now this is the hard numbers, flesh and bones of all of the research in a lot of detail. Now the beauty of the guided book flow is you have all of this information, all of this detail, all of this reading. You don't actually need to do anything with it. At no point am I going to need to copy paste anything here. At no point am I going to need to type out any of this. I can just leave it up to the flow. That really is the key here. Go with the flow. So I'm going to hit next, and it takes us over to our outline step. In the outline step, we put in some basic information like our audience, the number of chapters we want, the number of words we want, the title of our book, or a working title for that matter, the genre, and the book intent. Now the book intent is optional. Think about this as a extra addition if you want. The book intent portion and kind of this box is just for you to add a little bit of extra something if you have it in mind. So if I were to say, please don't cover this specific subtopic, I can put that in there, and then it's not going to cover that specific subtopic in the outline in the final book. For me, I've just put a bit more detail on what I want this book to do. I've said I want it to support working professionals with advice and actionable plans on how to better handle high-pressure work environments, motivate themselves at work, and manage stress. And by clicking Generate, I now have an output for an outline here, which covers all of the research and what we've put in right here. Now again, much like the research output, we have an easy mode and a hard mode. We have an overview and then the detail below. So in the overview, we have, of course, a general overview here. We have our audience profile explained in the outline. We have key topics, the teaching methodology, the challenges addressed, the reader benefits, a unique value proposition. So this is the unique value of your book compared to the rest of the market. And then a quick outline overview of how the book is going to progress. So starting with a hook, introducing a problem, sharing personal stories, preview key takeaways, understanding motivation to work with our chapter summaries. And as we go down, we get into a lot more detail here about what each chapter is going to include. So this is every single chapter with a breakdown of the chapter's subpoints, its topics and ideas, as well as its potential sources, going all the way down. And you can see it goes for quite a while because it is very detailed. And it gets you right down to the conclusion here, where it gives you a bit of a formatted layout for how we're going to close off this book. And there we go. That is the end of the outline. Now, incredibly detailed, and once again, the beauty of this, like with the research stage, is at no point do I need to copy paste anything. I don't need to necessarily even remember what is written here. I can forget about this at this point because it's all handled in the back end for me. So clicking next, we then get onto our final stage, and this is the writing sample. Now, we've gone through all of this research, we've gone through all of the outlines, but we still don't really know what the end product's going to look like. And before you commit to generating something, that a full book in one go, you want to know what your end product's going to be. And that's where we come to our samples here. So right here, you have two simple questions you need to answer. What tone do you want? So that'll be things like formal, informal, serious, humorous, etc., going all the way down. I went for sincere because this is a motivational book. I want to connect with the reader. And then writing style. And writing style, again, is going to be how you want this written. I've gone for persuasive because while I do want to connect with the reader, I also want to persuade them into following what I'm saying in this book. And then I click generate, and what does it do? It gives me a book sample here in the writing style that I want. Now the beauty is, with all of the steps that we've covered so far, including the sample writing, you may have noticed there's a little 1 of 1 showing up here. If I go ahead and I change this to sarcastic and argumentative, I'm going to be a really nasty author to read. Go, and I generate something new. We're going to go ahead and get another sample right here. And just like with the outline, we can regenerate this and we can get a different outline. If we go back to research, we can regenerate and get something else, and we can just flick between them here. The one that you are viewing, click next, is the one that gets carried over. So, going back to our writing samples, we now have two different samples here, and we can see an example of how this book is going to be written in the style and tone that we want. So this is sincere and persuasive. Let's find a good line to read. We can start here. It says, through engaging exploration and practical advice, the book aims to inspire and equip young professionals with the tools necessary to thrive. A nice, caring tone to that. Of course, part of that could be the way I read it and the way that I am perceiving it, but for me, that comes across as a bit more caring in its writing style. Now, let's go for the sarcastic one, and let's see what that has to say. We'll explore personal motivators, because you certainly don't need someone else telling you what keeps you going, right? There we go. Perfect example right there in that line. We have a complete change in the tone, the writing style for this sample. It's night and day to what was before. Before was caring, it was professional, it was nice to read, it was nurturing. This is more comedic, it's more funny, it's sarcastic, it's a bit witty. So, depending on what you want for your book, and that's completely up to you, you can see a sample of that here. Then you go ahead and click Generate Book down here. It makes sure to check with you first that you have what you want. In this case, we have sarcastic and argumentative here. And then we can click Generate, and within a few minutes, you'll have a full book generated. Nothing more needed from you. And I'm actually going to go ahead, head over to my homepage, and it should be somewhere here. Let's have a look and see if I can find it. Here we go. Here's our full book. This is, of course, I generated earlier. But we have the outline. It is here. The research is also here in a note. Go. And then our full 10 chapters with introduction, with conclusion, and with a reference list provided at the bottom. All done for me in a process that would take 15, 20 minutes at most. Something that I can just quickly run through in a lunch break, that I can do when I'm tired at the end of my usual 9 to 5 work day. It's right here, it's done for me. All I need to do now is get a cover, have a read through the book and see if I like it or want to make any changes, and market it. Simple as that. And I know it does sound cocky for me to say simple as that. Also, I work at the company. I'm biased. Of course, I'd say simple as that, but it really is simple as that. Just trust me. All right. So that is all of our agenda topics covered for today. Let's hop into a quick Q&A session, and then that will be us wrapping up with day 3. One thing I will say again to everyone before we get deep into the Q&A is check for that link in chat again that Mike is going to be posting. That is a link to join the beta for our guided book flow, so you can have early access before anyone else to sign up, test it out, try it out, generate some books. Whatever you create in the beta belongs to you. Go ahead, test it out, give us your feedback, see what you like, what you don't like. If you find something that you don't like, let us know, and we'll improve it. That is the point of a beta. At the end of the day, we want to get your feedback, your opinions, your thoughts, so that we can give you a damn good product. Yeah. So check out that link. There is a discount code as well for any new users, any people that are signing up to Create Pro for the first time, creating a new account for the first time, is a discount code. I believe it is AI Book Method, all caps. That is going to get you 15% off for up to 3 months. So check that out. And then, yeah, I think we are good to get into our questions. Go ahead, Mike. I see we do have one quick question. I'm going to just answer here at the beginning. Can I watch the previous live videos somewhere? Yes, you can. Feel free to hop over to our YouTube channel. I think I'm out of focus on my camera right now. Apologies. But feel free to hop over to our YouTube channel, Dibbly, the Urban Writers. You'll find all of our live sessions there. That would be a great place for you to get started on your journey. And yeah, Michael, I think we can get into our other questions now. Can the AI help me if I have no marketing experience whatsoever? Definitely, yes. That is kind of the beauty with AI, is it is an incredible, fantastic assistant for you. It's going to go ahead and give you a starting off point, even if you have no prior experience. Let's see if I can get my camera to focus on me again. There we go. Okay, now it's got me in focus again. Sorry, I was a bit blurry there for a second. Yes, so AI is great. It's a fantastic helper. It will give you the starting off point that you need, regardless of your experience level. Even if you are an incredibly experienced marketer, for example, let's say you do it professionally. The lovely thing about AI is it can do the heavy lifting for you. So all you need to do is lean back and rely on your knowledge to drive you forward. And if you don't have that knowledge, that's fine too. AI can provide it to you. It can summarize for you, and it can give you a summary, a rundown of what you should be doing at any point in time. Feel free to lean on it because it is very knowledgeable. I often like to say AI is like talking to the smartest person on Earth. They just need you to guide them towards answers. Simple as that. If you know how to ask the right question or ask a question, AI can give you the answer. Okay, Michael, let's see what we have next. Guided writing works for both non-fiction and fiction. So with the guided book flow, it is right now only non-fiction, but we are working on fiction at present. Non-fiction at the moment is a really good market for us to test out and get into. We have tons of customers who are working in non-fiction, and this type of flow really suits that corner of the market. But we do plan to cater to our fiction folks with a guided flow of their own. It will be something that is more tailored to fiction people, though. So do keep that in mind. It will be a little bit different, and that's a good thing because we want to make sure it is tailored to benefit you as well as possible as a fiction author. We don't just want a cookie cutter that we think will kind of fit everyone and not really do a great job. No, we want to make sure we're creating something that's going to do a great job for you. All right, let's head on to the next one, Mike. How much time should I expect to save by using AI tools versus doing everything manually? There's a lot of time, a lot of time, really. Believe it or not, Many years ago, I actually used to be a ghostwriter. I used to do it professionally. That was my bread and butter for quite a while. And this was before AI was popular, before AI was really even a thing. And it would take me, if I was really rushing through something and I was really pushing myself hard, it could take me a month to do a 30,000 word book. It could potentially, no, if I pull a few late nighters, it could take me 20 days to do a 30,000 word book, something around there. With AI now, as you saw, we got 30,000 words done in 15 minutes. Yeah. It really is limitless the amount of time it can save you. And I mean, in my example, that was just me writing. That wasn't research. That wasn't including outlining. That wasn't including marketing and doing all of that. With the guided book flow, you can get most of that done in 15 minutes, and then all you have to do is focus on your marketing, focus on getting that book published, getting it out there, and selling it. And that's really what you want. You want to minimize the time put in and maximize the time making money. All right, hit us with the next one, Mike. What makes a good book title? Okay, a good book title, kind of covered, we touched on this briefly yesterday, but a good book title really comes down to keywords. It really comes down to knowing what people are going to be searching to find your book. If I'm trying to sell something online, let's say I'm trying to sell, oh, my mind's blank. What's a good example? I'm trying to sell keyboards. I've got a keyboard right in front of me. If I'm trying to sell keyboards online and I'm selling it on Amazon, I'm not going to advertise it as me selling headsets, because nobody that's looking for keyboards is going to find my keyboards. And of course, that's a very broad and general example, but with book titles and the keywords you use there, it really does all come down to making sure that the words that you're putting in your title are representative of what is in your book and representative of the market that you are selling to. So if my book is on motivation, my title is most likely going to have something related to motivation, or driving oneself forward, or how to organize yourself. And it's going to have a lot of buzzwords and key terms that you will associate with motivational books, because that is what people are going to be looking for. Okay. What makes a good book description? In many ways, it's a similar answer. A book description, you've got to think about it kind of like an expanded version of your title. It's one step after the other. People are going to search for a book and see your title. They're going to click on that and then see your description. So they kind of need to play off of each other. A good book description is going to follow many of the same rules as a title. It's going to be targeted towards your target market. It's going to contain information and wording that is relevant to your book and the topics your book addresses. And it's got one more thing that sets it apart, which would actually be it will contain a hook and it will contain a call to action. So while the title needs to be short, you can't contain a hook there and a call to action. You can do that in your book description, where you really want to encourage readers to, you kind of want to hook readers in that first 1 or 2 lines of a book description so that they read the rest of it. And then at the end, once they've gone through everything and they understand what you're selling them, you're going to have a call to action there that says, well, go out there, get the book, change your life. Something like that, which is going to really convince them that they need this book, that it's going to help them. So that makes a good book description. Keywords, good hook, great call to action. Is fact-checking the same thing as checking for plagiarism? No. So those would be 2 different things. In terms of fact-checking, you'll be looking for checking whether a fact is reputable, it's verifiable, it's something that we can prove is true, or that we at least have reliable sources online saying is true. Plagiarism, on the other hand, would be more detecting whether the writing in your book or the content that you have created has already been created by someone else. And specifically been already created by someone else and copyrighted or in some way legally protected by that person. Now, when it comes to plagiarism, there are acceptable levels of plagiarism. And that can be a bit of a scary thing for some people to hear, but it is the truth. There's nothing on this earth that is completely original. You'll be looking at a general book will have anywhere up to like 10% technically plagiarism, just because you use the same phrase as somebody else might have used. If you say Johnny went down to the well in your book, there's probably a book out there somewhere that also said Johnny went down to the well. And when you go ahead and scan your book for plagiarism, that's going to show up. And that's unavoidable. You cannot be 100% original. So, yeah, plagiarism, fact-checking, different things, equally important. In terms of a plagiarism checker, we do actually have that on the roadmap for Dibbly Create. So keep your eyes peeled, keep your eyes out, subscribe to our mailing list if you aren't already. You might just hear about that coming in the near future. Okay. So I believe that is it for our questions today. I know that Natasha has been working very hard in the chat, answering some questions there too. So big thanks to her from me and from everyone here as well. Yeah, it's been a good past 3 days, everyone. I am very happy with how these webinars have gone. Please do feel free to reach out to us on social media, give a like to the videos on YouTube, leave us a comment, subscribe, do whatever if you feel the need to show your appreciation. I would appreciate it, and the company would as well. Again, check out the link to the beta for guided book flow. Check out that discount code that's associated with it as well. And feel free to sign up there. Join us on testing out this exciting new feature. And I will say, if you have any other suggestions for webinars, I am more than open to joining you all again in the future. So please do feel free to email us, drop a comment on our socials, and let us know what you might like to see next. We like to give the people what they want. So if you guys want something and we can provide it, we will. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate it. Please do have a lovely rest of your day. Have a lovely journey through publishing, and also have a great weekend ahead. We are almost there. One more day, and then everyone can relax. All right. Thank you so much, everyone.